Hello, it's Jennifer. Today is Sunday, April 30th, and this morning I'm out looking at my tomatoes, and I see a jungle here. So basically the weather here in Southern California has gotten very warm. It's now consistently in the 80s and sometimes in the 90s during the day, and this is the weather that tomatoes love, so of course my tomatoes have taken off. So this morning, I'm out looking at this particular area in the tomato bed because it is a sprawling forest. And these are basically I guess they call it bush steak variety of tomatoes. And then this one here on the tall pole is a green gauge. So these bush steak tomatoes have almost reached their mature height and are now putting out their fruit. So lots of flowers, big sturdy plants. They're ready to go. So they'll put out their fruit, and probably in a couple of months they'll be dying back. So now is the time that I've started my next set of determinate tomatoes to go in their place, such that when these die off, I can just plug the new tomatoes in and start going again. This green gauge tomato, though, is indeterminate, and so it will keep on growing. So I need to cut back some of the leaves here, not take the leaves off, but just trim the ends off to give all of these tomatoes some space, so that they don't create a humid area in between them that becomes an area susceptible to fungal disease and blight. So that's what I'm going to do today. So I grew bush steak tomatoes last year with some mixed results. The ones that I tried to grow in containers didn't do well, but I think that was mostly because they were not shaded and they were left on the patio where it got extremely hot in the months of August and September. I also tried to grow another determinate variety from Heinz, and that one did not do well either. But this is before I learned that I needed to put some shading, so I don't know if shading would have helped that more. So once we did learn that the tomato plants like heat but not intense sun, we put up the shades, and the plants just took off even though they had been stunted before. So one of the important things to know about the bush steak is that while it is a heat-loving tomato, it is not a sun-loving tomato. And if you live in a place like inland Southern California like I do, you need to take this into account and provide some dapple shading for these plants so they can thrive. Oh, this is tough. So I'm trying to create some air space between these plants while not cutting off too much because they need their leaves to support the growth of the tomatoes. Looks like we've already got a little problem down here with some fungus, so I'll go ahead and spray these with neem and baking soda later on today. The top. And so basically I'm just trying to open this up such that there's some air space between the plants. Anyhow, this morning it's lovely. It's supposed to get into the mid-80s today, so I'm out early to avoid the heat and the UV. Yesterday the UV index got up to 12, which was kind of ridiculous. So So I stayed inside most of the day. Hopefully this is enough of an air gap there between the plants that I've removed some of these branches, or I should say the tips of some of these branches. I'll come through later on today in the early evening and spray them with neem oil and baking soda to keep the fungus at bay. Here's a quick update on the Gladiator tomatoes. They are still tall and stringy. I'm allowing them now to flower, but I still have my backup plants growing just in case these fail. So I still don't have much confidence in these plants. They just look too anemic to really output any sort of large tomatoes. This one is probably the best looking one. I'm concerned that it's broken into 2 vines now. So either I cut one of the vines off, which I guess you could consider this one a sucker, or I go ahead and tie the sucker to the support and let it grow as well. I haven't decided yet, so I'll think on it. My cherry tomatoes are now starting to flower and put on fruit. This is obviously not a Sweet 100 cherry tomato. I don't know what this is. It could be a grape tomato, or it could be some sort of full-sized, I guess, plum or Roma type tomato. So we'll find out, my husband and I, once these ripen up, see what these are. Hopefully they taste good. This is looking more like a cherry tomato. So under here you can see the kind of sleigh bell-like form of the tomato branch. And up here some more. This one too is putting on flowers. I don't think it has fruit yet. And this wonderful swirling creature here, I still have no idea what this is, but it's got flowers on it. Looks, oh, there's some fruit too. Huh. Well, that gives me no hint as to what this is. But I'd say it's most likely not a cherry tomato. Maybe it's a salad tomato. But it's doing well. It's very green, very sweaty. I see evidence that a little birdie has been here. Look at those sunflower seeds. Somebody's been in here eating. I accidentally pulled this out of the ground yesterday amongst my carrots. This came from one of those kaleidoscope mixes, so it's a white carrot. I tried it. Tastes like a carrot, even though it's white. It's not a parsnip. It's a carrot.